Hello and welcome to another episode of Hasu Hour. I'm your host Zerg. The map today is Lerlac Crest, a four-player map, and our first player, Marine Lord, is chosen Terran, spawning in the top left. His opponent, Shura, a Zerg who did a little gas trick here and spawned in the bottom left. TVZ is a classic action-packed matchup. It's been a favorite of StarCraft fans since the Brood War days. Usually you see a lot of attacks and a lot of nice combat. It's a very exciting matchup. So hopefully today will be no exception to the rule. The Zerg player decides to open with a fast expansion, trying to get that second base up and running so that with his greater economy, he can produce more units. Meanwhile, the Terran player opens with a Rax and a single gas, going for a fast expansion himself, but also getting the early barracks relative to the command center so that he can do a little Reaper harass. The Reaper is an excellent unit for the very early game, as it provides you valuable scouting information as to what your opponent is building, and once you know what they're building, you can deduce their strategy based on gas timing, or if you see the particular building, you might know that they plan to construct that type of unit. Some nice scouting with this Overlord here, and Marine Lord builds a Marine, fittingly enough, in order to fend it off. The Zerg player getting his first base, first expansion, second base online, and in comes the Reaper, attacking the Lynx, getting a bunch of free hits here, and throwing down its grenade, its KD8 charge, getting some kills and preventing the Zerg player from getting this expansion online. So really nice attack here with the Reaper, and microing it very carefully so that it doesn't take too many hits. But it is down to 25 health. 5 kills for the Reaper already. So he's going to want to retreat here and let that heal, but he's not going to be out of action very long. Takes sort of a loop around, and he's back up to 60 HP and back in the game. Now the Queen is able to defend against the Reaper fairly effectively, throwing a grenade, sending drones flying, but the Reaper's taking a lot of hits here, 23 HP only, and he's confronted by not only 2 Queens, but also a 4 drone phalanx, and almost dead, but he is able to escape to the low ground and resume that healing process. Marine Lord's expansion coming online, and he sets up a nice bunker Widow Mine defense in case his opponent tries some early all-in pressure. Meanwhile, he constructs a dropship out of his starport and lays down that factory with the Vital Tech Lab add-on for the siege tank. The siege tank plays a very important role in mid-game Terran Zerg confrontations, but look at this. He's doing a switch and going for the reactor in order to pump Hellions. So opts for the tech lab on the starport in order to get that Banshee with cloak, and meanwhile sends in a drop. And unfortunately for Shira, he didn't set up any overlords in between the bases, so he's not going to be able to detect this drop until it's a little too late here. And a 6 Marine army and 1 Widow Mine attack the Zerg main. 3 Queens are trying to fend off the attack, and the Widow Mine does manage to do some real damage to the Queens, but they are quickly able to transfuse and heal, and the drop is fended off without a phenomenal amount of damage being done. Although the one Little Mine is still remaining in the Zerg base until it's evicted by the Overseer Queen forces. Both players now macroing up 2 base for 2 base, so they're equal there, but the Zerg wants to change that. He's grabbing another expansion. And meanwhile, the Zerg is trying to spread the creep, and the Terran is trying to fight the creep spread. And in comes a Banshee to do a little harass here and maybe attack this hatchery. One Banshee not going to do too much at this stage in the game, although he does have that cloak researching, or he did. I guess he canceled that in order to scare up some funds. And he is forced to retreat from the Queens with the Overseer. But he does manage to save the Banshee at least. Meanwhile, Spire has been completed, and Mutalisks are morphing. The Mutalisk is an excellent versatile flying unit capable of doing great harass and also pretty good at defending against drops. So in come the Mutalisks. They are going to try to see if they can do some damage to the Terran midline. They're encountering Liberator Reinforce. Now the Liberators Lexington rockets do only minimal damage, only 7 damage against air. Their real strength is the defender mode anti-ground attack. However, these Lexington rockets are splash damage. So in sufficient numbers against a clumped air force, they will do a lot of damage very quickly. So one-on-one, they're not all that effective. But once you get sort of a critical mass, they become absolutely devastating. And in comes a Baneling attack, taking out the bunker and approaching the massed SCV forces. The SCVs are running for their lives here, and the Mutalisks joining the Banelings, taking out the Liberators that are in defender mode here. Of course, while the Liberator is in defender mode, it cannot target air, and it can only attack ground within its specific radius, but it does a phenomenal amount of damage within that radius. So the Zerg forces running through the Terran base, but Marine Lord is able to hastily defend against this aggression and hold his base. Despite the damage done to the SCVs, you can see his Harvester count is still comparable to the Zergs. So it's by no means clear which player has a significant advantage at this point. Supply counts are practically equal, and the Zerg taking a second from his relentless attacks to macro up and spend some money, build more forces. Mutalisks approaching dangerously close to the Terran army, but they are able to fly away without sustaining serious damage. Mutiling composition so far from the Zerg player, which, while it does have its advantages, can be a little weak in direct combat. So you have to sort of make up for that with the maneuverability and harass approach. Mutalisks again flying in the Terran base, chased off by the Liberator force. The Liberators are a very quick unit. And in comes the Baneling Zergling attack on the reinforcers. Will these Banes score their hits? Marines are melting like crazy. And again, the Banelings approaching the SCVs. A lot of potential damage here. They're very close, but can they explode on their target? The SCVs running for their lives. And not really a devastating attack. Mutalisk forces now trying to take out some buildings in the Terran main. Unfortunately kept at bay by this turret, which can be repaired by the massive SCV clumps there. And in comes the Terran push. Now trying to fight this creep spread, which is almost completely to his base. So he's scanning, taking out those tumors. And he's got a nice little spread of Marines here. He's sensing the Baneling attack. He knows it's coming. He's set up some Widow Mines, a little trap. But he's forced to retreat to his main to defend against some Mutalisk harass. And a nice Nice Baneling army here. Really, really heavy Bane composition so far for the Zerg player. And it looks like the Zerg player is going for another frontal attack. He's massing his forces. He's got that Baneling speed upgrade. Those balls are really rolling. And the Terran trying to fight off the army with a 7 reinforce there. He did manage to pick off a Baneling. And the depots doing a very nice job defensively. Look at this spread. The Marines are running in every direction so as not to be caught in the splash damage. And Shura has to type GG as his Banelings did not.